Former West Virginia defensive coordinator Jordan Lesley has had his charges dismissed, no longer a threat to him. I want to talk about it. Got a statement from the lawyers. And what about Jahiem White? Is he going to stay or is he going to go? We'll talk about that in segment 2.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. This is Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys for being here on another awesome episode. We'll be talking Mountaineer sports, Mountaineer football, sometimes other stuff. It's going to be brought to you by FanDuel. We all love FanDuel, or at least I do. When the game tips off, NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get it than with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Make sure you guys bet that first $5 bet so that you can get 150 in bonus bets if you win. Super important, obviously, concerning the FanDuel. So I had some people reach out to was sort of there were some charges brought against Mr. Lesley. And so I do believe it was on November 9th. He was arrested, which was, around a week or so after the post of West Virginia was over with. So you want to talk about back-to-back just bad. That's back-to-back bad. And I'm not laughing at it. I'm just saying, sometimes when it rains, it pours. I'm sure that's what he was thinking here. But, man, sometimes the sunshine does come through the rain. Sure. Did they have a tough time on defense last year? That's an understatement. Did the guy that they replaced him with do worse? Yeah, he did. So, I think it was probably a player's issue as much as anything else. And certainly the overall voice, and, I've voiced this several times with Neil Brown. I felt like that had gotten stale, but that's neither here nor there. This is about Jordan Lesley and the charges that were brought against him unfairly, in my opinion. And so I have a statement here from the lawyer that says this right here. The charges against Coach Jordan Lesley were dismissed in their entirety, and dismissed means, what is this doing here? Why are you bringing this into court? There wasn't nothing here. Okay, great, Mr. Cop, you did your job and you arrested him because you thought there might have been something there. There ain't. And we all believe there not to be. So on behalf of Miss Lesley and her attorney, I can confidently say that this matter was as a result of an unfortunate misunderstanding. The Mongolia County Prosecutor's Office worked thoroughly with us and with the office of Louis Gianola, who was known as Rocky. He also represented Bob Huggins, PLLC, in reviewing the matter. And upon such review, it quickly became apparent that the complete dismissal of charges was necessary. For their hard work and cooperation, we are thankful. The Lesleys have been valuable members of our community over the past years, and I'll always cherish their kindness, and I know that Jordan's perseverance and determination will bring him and his family great success no matter where they are. Any community and team would be more than lucky to have him and his family. Matthew S. Gutta, attorney for Ann Catherine Lesley, Gutta Law, PLLC. That's a lot. There's a lot in there. So I want to say this first and foremost, and I alluded to this the other day. In the court of public opinion, Jordan Lesley was eviscerated the day after this happened. A lot of people rushed to judgment on it, and I came on here and told people, don't do that until everything comes out. It was already funny from the beginning. We already had some whispers of what actually happened, and no, I'm not going to talk about that on here, but let's just say that Jordan Lesley didn't hit anybody. And unfortunately, when cops are called into a situation, whether that's unbeknownst to two people having an argument or not, they come in it's almost always with an expectation that something is going to be wrong. And oh, by the way, Jordan Leslie's 6'4", 230 pounds or whatever it is, and is built like a linebacker because he played linebacker. He's from Mississippi. He's got the Southern drawl, and he could be an intimidating guy, although he doesn't have an intimidating presence at all. But I'm just saying, I can see how a cop would look at him and say, "Holy cow, this big guy." And I I've been in this situation, and I've been very open with you guys on here over the years that, I have unfortunately been arrested numerous times due to a really rocky past that I have, that I have, by the grace of God, been able to rectify. But what happens in these situations is people have to make quick decisions, snap judgments, and try to follow evidence, but it doesn't always happen correctly, especially if there's somebody that may be hysterical on the scene, or if there's somebody that's difficult to deal with on the scene. And I'm not saying that happened here. I'm just giving you a bunch of examples. So anyway, he was arrested, which is the worst thing that could happen, right? A ticket, anything like that, and all, usually domestic has to end with an arrest, but not always. It depends on, if somebody's pressing charges, those kinds of things. And sometimes the cop can step in and say, well, I'm going to press charges. So it doesn't even matter really. But so I don't know what this situation, what happened here. But what I do know, and then what the lawyers have said from Ann Catherine's side, not just Jordan's side, is that this was totally dismissed. And what it's done is it's negatively impacted Jordan Lesley to the point to where he might be the only staff member that doesn't have a job from the Neil Brown era. It's not like he's not good enough to coach. They had a couple really rough seasons, but it's a team thing, right? I mean, the head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they take the brunt of it. We all know that. And I think people, they certainly are all due their own blame. But this is an off the field issue. And I believe that, it negatively impacted him, and it still is. When you look up his name, this still comes up. And it's not fair, man, especially since he didn't do it. And like I said, guys, I ended up doing years on a charge that I didn't do. So I'm very passionate about this subject because, especially if it's your first time, like it was me, you don't know how to fight it. And, those around you, maybe they believe you, maybe they don't. In my case, I was already heading down a bad path and nobody believed me. Boy cried wolf. So I kind of made my own bet in that situation, but yet and still I ended up doing years over somebody that was just trying to make $1 off of insurance charges, right? Like, he took my jewelry that I don't have pictures of, but somehow they got money off of this. Anyway, I don't need to go into this whole story, but my point is, man, and I know what it's like to be in that situation. And obviously my life changed from that moment on. I wasn't able to get jobs. I wasn't able to I had dreams. I wasn't able to go to college for certain things. So, it can be devastating, totally devastating. Jordan Lesley's young. He's in his 40s. Like a domestic charge in the coaching profession is like a death sentence. Like you have to be like Bob Knight, Bobby Petrino, like those kind of guys that have, they have checkered pasts, but they are so well known and so good, somebody's going to take a chance, right? Jordan Lesley, by the way, was a finalist for the Broyles Award while he was here. You know what that is? I mean, it's crazy, man. Like he it's easy to focus on the negative, and I totally understand why people did. I mean, it was because the bad came later in their tenure. But man, you're not going to be given or be nominated as it's an annual award that's given to the top assistant coach in college football. So, the best coaches under usually 40 or 50 get that often. And it's not just that age group, but you see a lot of younger coaches get it. Jordan was in that conversation, so we had I think we had a top 4 defense 2020. 2021 was another really good defense. And so you don't just forget how to coach. I think it was mostly the player acquisition that really hurt this team, in my opinion. So I wish Jordan Lesley the best. I'm going to try to follow up on this and get Jordan on the show. I think you guys understand the assignment here. We want to use a wrestling term, we want to put him over here, right? Like we want to make him look good because this was an unfair situation. If you disagree with me, then you do. But I think if you're in this chat room, most of the people in here agree with my takes most of the time, and understand that I'm coming from a place of love here because I don't like this. You know, like if he did it, then I would probably be on the other side of the fence, obviously. But he didn't. So, and there's numerous people that decided that. So, and like I said, there were whispers about what happened if you paid attention in certain circles. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, couples do fight. You know, I just think that this was an unfortunate situation for the Leslies altogether. Their family, there's kids that are getting drugged through this that, you know, they have to go to school in this area, and just overall really rough situation. So I wish Jordan and their kids the best, and hopefully they can move on and get a coaching job soon because he deserves it. And as a fan base, I hope you guys support this guy that gave us so many years of his life, even though the on the field results weren't what we always wanted at the end. Man, was he a great dude. And like, you know, he's got that Mississippi Southern drawl that I love to hear in the press conferences, and thought he was very, very personable in those. And like I said, guys, Jordan Lesley, in my opinion, is a plus top-notch guy, and I think he'll make a good coach somewhere. He's this close to getting a head coaching job in 2022, right? So it's not like he's not well thought of. So let's get this stain off of his resume, please. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, Jahiem White. He just lost his best friend and coach, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty about his future. Let's talk about that next here on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get it than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on a fourth-quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because, hey, it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late-game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, man. And when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new customers can bet $150 in bonus bets. That's if you win your first $5 bet. Just go to FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your one shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports bet partner of the National Basketball Association. It's segment 2. We still crack our due, even though that first segment was a little hard to get through. I feel bad for Mr. Lesley and family. And then my cat is right behind me. And listen, like I say all the time on these lives, man, this is live TV. So it's not like I can tell her to get out of the screen. And she's my mascot. That's good stuff, man. Chris Level's yelling at me this morning for drinking a Mountain Dew this morning. It's only my second one of the day. That's pretty good at 5 o'clock, right? Times 2, 3, 4. Just kidding. So, Jahiem White, you know, it's a tough situation here. We know that he's openly said publicly, I think, even Dylan in the chat room here, for those of you listening on podcast, Dylan is a chat member in the YouTube portion of this. I think even he may have asked Jahiem White or somebody, he sent me a clip of Jahiem White. You can confirm in the chat, but I think Jahiem White even openly said on a Instagram video that he wouldn't come back had it not been for Chad Scott. So I look at that situation and wonder, has he gotten closer to the coaches that are on staff now, like Noel Devine, Pat White, a couple West Virginia legends? Maybe they can warm up to Jahiem White. Surely they understand the assignment here as well. Like, you got to kind of record this guy, unfortunately. And I don't know to what end. I don't know if, I'm sure he's unhappy. And I mean, look, would Texas take him? Probably so. That's the biggest worry, right? Is Jahiem White going to follow Chad Scott to Texas? Well, he might. I mean, he's an elite running back. So it's scary to think of, but I'm of the mindset that I think Jahiem loves West Virginia. I think that there are other coaches on the staff. I mean, I've always said, as a player, yes, you're going to get close to certain coaches, but at the end of the day, are you not doing it for the name on the chest, the name on the jersey at all? Do we, the people who put so much love and enjoyment and investment into that brand, not matter? I mean, look, I understand the whole doing what's best for you and that whole thing, but like there's damage, man, that happens when we lose players like Jahiem, that everybody's like looking forward to what he might do in this offense. So for me, man, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm torn, because I think, obviously, does he deserve to be able to pick where he goes? Absolutely he does. Is he guaranteed to start? I mean, he probably would at most places, but, you have to learn a new offense. You have to get acclimated somewhere new. I just don't know, man. The only place you could see him possibly going is Texas because of Chad Scott, because Jahiem, from my 1,000-foot vantage point, is the kind of, he's sort of an introverted kind of guy. He doesn't want to do interviews. He doesn't want to be out. I don't think he would necessarily enjoy getting to know a whole new staff and players either. And so Chad Scott would obviously be the one person that could make that transition easier. But then I think Chad Scott's also the kind of guy that may not want to hurt West Virginia and bring somebody else in. But that's for sure the case if Neil Brown's here. But then I don't know, maybe he's upset with Rich Rod because of the way things played out. He had to rehire him. He said that yesterday. Rich Rod did. So, that means Chad Scott was let go for a little while, maybe like 4 or 5 days or a week or whatever it was. That sucks. Like, I just wish we would have kept him the entire time. But, not mad at Chad Scott. Understand, you can't turn down Texas. They're literally on, they're in a spot right now in the SEC where they can become the team in that conference. I think they made a huge move under Sarkisian, the culture and everything they have going on there. You want to be a part of that. So I'm definitely not mad at Chad Scott. It's just, what's the collateral damage here? Does a Rodney Gallagher, does a Brandon Raymond, does anybody else on that offense that's known him for a few years want to leave or transfer as a result of this? Well, we'll find out when the window opens. I think Rich Rod was very, very smart to move back the practice day to the 5th, or the spring game day to the 5th, because he wants to have a week of meetings with everybody before the portal opens. Genius idea, because that way exactly what's going on. You know exactly what to expect, and there's no BS involved. Everybody pretty much, outside of a couple guys, are going to tell you the truth. Sure. Is there going to be somebody that says, I'm not going to go anywhere, that likely transfers? Probably so. Is there going to be rampant tampering? Absolutely. Will everybody be calling Jahiem White now? Probably. But at the end of the day, that's what those meetings are for. You get a feel for what's going on, and then you kind of adjust accordingly. And look, aren't you glad we brought the running backs in we did now, just in case? Because I'm really excited about the 2 guys we brought in, especially Ty Edwards. So I just think there's a lot to like about the running back room, and I would love to see Jahiem stay in it as RB1. But if he doesn't want to, then he doesn't. But my gut feeling is that he stays at this point, in time. But as practice opens, as we get word if is he practicing, because we're going to know, like, he can't transfer yet. Nobody got fired. The head coach didn't get fired. So he can't transfer. Now, he could check out and not come to practice, but we'll hear about that. So, if he's practicing hard and engaged, that's going to be a great sign for the future of Jahiem White, right? If, like I said, if I get word next week that, he's engaged with practice and he's taking number 1 reps and all that, I'm going to say, okay, he's good to go. There's nothing to worry about. He's probably going to stick around. Why would he be doing anything? Why would he risk injury? That's right. I keep forgetting his knee. He just had a knee deal, didn't he? Darn it. I keep forgetting that, guys. I don't know how, and that's another factor here. And I guess I need to let's take it that direction really quick. He's probably not fully healthy. I don't know how big of a procedure this was. He posted on social media that he had a hospital gown on and this whole thing. So, how big of a procedure was it? I don't know. Is it one of those things where you're out 6 weeks and you're back? Maybe. Is it a little longer? Maybe. But you want to talk about transferring when you're injured? That's really an uncertain situation. And I feel almost as good about that as I do anything else. Let's go to break really quick, guys. 6 seconds, and then we'll put a bow on this one. Be right back. You caught me. I know. I'm addicted. I'm so addicted to the Mountain Dew. Oh, I just made up a song. That's pretty good. You guys remember that song? Who sang that song? Let me look it up really quick. I'm so addicted to the things you do. So it's Addicted by Saving Abel. You remember that song? I'm so addicted to the things you do. Anyway, so obviously we're changing that song to I'm so addicted to the Mountain Dew. The next lyrics are kind of like I'll find a way around that. Shoot. When I have to pee. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll release it on Big 12 Squad. Definitely will. That's a great idea because it's just become a thing. If you guys haven't watched the Big 12 Squad today, by the way, the entire third segment is me telling stories about my dad, and they're pretty funny. So, like I said, the Big 12 Squad it released today, I think, or yesterday. So it's a couple videos down. You got to go check it out, man. It's like, it's one of the funnier ones we've done, and not just because I was in it. It was just, they get a kick out of my antics with the Mountain Dew, with I guess me being from West Virginia and my accent. Even though it's not as thick as some of y'all's, it's still pretty thick, but not as thick as some of y'all's is. So, yeah, gosh, man. All right. So my thoughts on, these two topics. I wanted to go another route, but I think I'm going to stick with what I got because I want to do a whole nother video. I'm going to come right back and do another video for a half an hour on another situation, probably in 20 minutes. I just don't know if I should wait longer or not. I'm worried about my internet. Like, it's just so frustrating to have to worry about that, but everybody keeps telling me I need Starlink. I don't want to crowdfund it, but I may end up having to. 500 is a lot of money to, I don't know. I can't do that. Anyway, so if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, Jordan Lesley, obviously his charges have been dismissed. And I got a statement that I was given to by his lawyer that I want to read because I think there's what does it say, almost 300 in here right now, so there wasn't as many in here earlier when I read it the first time, and I think just kind of take this with you as you go today on social media and different places, and just kind of make sure that you defend Jordan if you can, because this is in the court of law saying there's nothing here. So you're only being hateful by perpetuating this deal. I've seen people doing it. Just a couple of days ago, even somebody in my chat who has since then apologized. I'm not going to single him out because he's actually a great example. He's a buddy of mine, but he called him a woman beater in the chat the other day, not realizing that none of this actually happened. And so just the fact that he was arrested and they had to do an investigation on that, obviously, which, can be scary. And I understand why people jump to those conclusions. It turns out that wasn't the case at all, to the point that they didn't even need to see it in court. So, I think that this is one of those situations, like I said, where whether it's on the field, off the field, or on the field stuff doesn't even matter here. This is a good guy. He's got a young family who, is he wealthy? Probably. But do you want him to have to live for the rest of his life off of what he's made? No. At this point, he's pretty locked into the coaching profession. So, I'll read this statement from the lawyer. The charges against Jordan Lesley were dismissed in their entirety. On behalf of Miss Lesley, as her attorney, I can confidently say that this matter was a result of an unfortunate misunderstanding. The Mongolia County Prosecutor's Office worked thoroughly and thoughtfully with us, with the Office of Rocky Gianola, PLLC, in reviewing the matter. And upon such review, it quickly became apparent that the complete dismissal of the charges was necessary. For their hard work and cooperation, we are thankful. The Lesleys have been valuable members of our community over the past years. I will always cherish their kindness, and I know that Jordan's perseverance and determination will bring him and his family great success, no matter where they are. Any community and team would be more than lucky to have him and his family. Matthew S. Gutta, attorney for Ann Catherine Lesley at Gutta Law, PLLC. And make sure you go check them out on Facebook, by the way. Very nice guy. I spoke to him probably for about a bunch of issues, not just the Lesley deal. Probably for, 30, I don't know. How long did it say we talked? Probably, I don't know, probably close to an hour, and really nice guy. He spelled things out for me in a way where I understood it. So just trust me when I say that Jordan deserves this push from us as a fan base, man. So sometimes neighbors call cops, and I don't know specifically, but point is, cops show up to places all the time where maybe somebody's arguing or it's loud or anything. So Jordan is awesome for what he did in this situation. So I won't say anything more than that. I wish I could. If I get permission, maybe I will someday. But, he really took this one on the chin and protected his family at the end of the day. So got a lot of respect for him for that. Jahiem White was the other topic we spoke about today. And, I just have some more thoughts on it really quick, because I think, what kind of a loss would this be? I think it's important to ask that question, because I think the initial reaction would be pandemonium, kind of panic. Like a lot of people would say, we're screwed. And to be honest, if I'm being honest here, first of all, I want to preface it by saying I really love Jahiem White and think he could be an All-American in this offense. I really do. But I also think he's not irreplaceable. He's not. he's an elite player. I think he's a very good player that hasn't made it to the elite just yet. Like statistically, I think he has the ability to, but if he allows Rich Rod to use him in this offense like he's used others, there's no doubt that he'll have a major, major impact, and I just hope he sticks around for it. But if we do end up losing him for somehow or some way, I just want to say that he is replaceable at the end of the day in this offense, and that is not a negative term here. It's just like running backs in this day and age are less valuable than they were 30 years ago. And it's not like you're losing your starting quarterback. And like, I'm not, and it's not like he is a Saquon Barkley kind of player. So it's like, I'm trying to be nice here, but like there is a level where somebody gets to where, okay, now it's a big loss no matter who they are. I think Jahiem is the guy that could be that. It's just that we haven't seen it just yet. Like we saw it a little bit his freshman year, and he had 800 yards last year. And I think I expected more from him. I think he expected more from himself. It was obvious he got injured. So, like I said, I'm not coming down hard on Jahiem. I'm just saying, as things stand right now, and that's not saying he could come in here and have a great All-American year. I think that, he can be replaced if we lose him, and it wouldn't really mean much other than we get some money freed up, and then we have to go find another guy. So that's where I stand on it, guys. Don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. I mean, you're watching this far into it, aren't you? You might as well hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, follow me on X at Paul Mountaineer. It's really simple. Just like West Virginia Mountaineer, it's at Paul Mountaineer. For any upcoming news on the Mountaineers, I record every single day, multiple times a day. So I would appreciate that. Thank you, Smack. Nice to see you in here, Raven and Dylan and WV Fan 13 and Caleb 31 and everybody that I can see, and Bill. Thank you guys for joining me here today. So Jahiem White is not leaving. By the way, this is more about Jordan Lesley than anything this episode, but I did want to, talk about him as well. And then I got another one we're going to do here in about, I'm going to try to aim for 6-ish, maybe 6:15. I got somebody that wants me to come on their show, but I got so much content to do. It's like, gosh, man. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. I better get out of here before I keep talking. And guys, reach out to the Leslies or put something on social media today. Let's just try to get, as long as you believe, because I do, that he was, these charges have been dismissed. I think he deserves all the positive energy he can get. All right, guys. Have a great one. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.